أهلا ومرحبا بكم. Welcome to lesson number 14 where we're gonna discuss word endings. Consider this word ولد. ولد. We learned that this word means boy. Now the last letter dal doesn't have any vowel on it, which is true for every word we learned so far. And the reason for that is that the last letter of a word takes a vowel depending on the position of that word in the sentence. So say ولد was to be a subject of a sentence. We would add a ضمة at the dal, which would make it ولد. ولد. If it was the object of a sentence, we would add a فتحة, which would make it ولد. If the word followed a preposition, then we would add a كسرة at the end, which would make it ولدي. So ولد could be ولد, ولد, and ولدي. Another modifier that could come at the end of a word and only at the end is what we call tanween. Tanween is the indefinite article in Arabic. So if we wanted to add the indefinite article to a word that ended with a dal and the dal had a fatha on it because say it was the object of a sentence, when we want to add a tanween, we simply add another fatha and then alif at the end. If the dal had a kasra at the end, we would simply add another kasra. If it had a dhamma, we would add another dhamma on top of it, and alternatively the second dhamma could be written upside down. So how would we pronounce it? Like so would be walad if we didn't add any vowel. If it had the tanween bid-dhamm, which is the two dhammas, we would simply add the n sound at the end, which would make it waladun. Waladun. With the tanween bil-fath, we also would say waladan. We simply add an n sound. The alif is a silent alif. We pretend like if it wasn't there. Waladan. Now, if it had a tanween bil-kasr, two kasras below it, we would say waladin. Waladin. So waladun, waladan, and waladin. So why did we add an alif that is silent? For the following reason. Now, no matter what the vowel is at the end of the word, if you had to stop at that word, then the vowel becomes silent. So waladu would become walad. Waladun would also become walad. Walada would become walad. Waladan, however, when we stop at it, the alif becomes active now. The tanween will become silent and the alif would become active, and we would say walada, walada. Waladi would become walad, and waladin would become walad also. So everything goes back to walad whenever you stop at it, except waladan, it would become walada, walada, and alif becomes a long vowel, walada. Next, we have a hybrid letter. The hybrid is between the ta and the ha. We combine them together and we get a letter that looks like a ha, except it has two dots on top of it. It can only come at the end of the word, so there's another way it could be written. If it comes after a non-connecting letter, then we would write it like so, again like a ha with two dots on top. This letter will sound like a ha if we stop at it, and it will sound like a ta if we add a vowel to it. Let's look at an example. Consider this word. Let's spell it out. A dal with a fatha is da, a jim with a long vowel is ja, and then a jim with a short fatha is ja, and then the ta al-marbuta here doesn't have any vowel, so we're gonna pronounce it like a ha, which makes ha, which means dajaja. Dajaja, which is a chicken. Now, what if we added a vowel like the dhamma here? Again, the D with the short vowel da, a jim with a long vowel ja, and a jim with a short vowel ja. In this case, the ta al-marbuta has a dhamma, which is going to make it sound like tu. Dajajatu. Dajajatu. With the indefinite article tanween, again da, ja, ja, tun, دجاجة دجاجة. If we add the indefinite article with a fatha, it would be دجاجة دجاجة. Notice we didn't add an alif here. The reason is, if we stop at a ta al-marbuta, no matter what the vowel is, it reverts back to a ha sound. So دجاجة would become دجاجة, دجاجة would become دجاجة, and دجاجة will also become دجاجة. Let's take a couple examples. سرعة سرعة, which means speed. سرعة. See, the ta al-marbuta is sounding like a ha. If I'm to add an indefinite article, it will be سرعة. Now it sounds like a ta because we added a vowel. سرعة. Another example is خيمة خيمة, which means a tent. خيمة. With an indefinite article, it will be خيمة خيمة. Again, the ha is now a ta. The last modifier at the end of a word is called Alif maqsura. Again, it's a hybrid between an alif and a ya. It sounds exactly like an alif, always sounding like an alif, except we write it like a ya without the dots. Al-alif al-maqsura is never a consonant, it's always a vowel, a long vowel, sounding like exactly like an alif when it's a vowel. So let's take an example. على على, which means on. Second example. متى متى, which means when. على and متى. To sum it up, words in Arabic always have to end with a vowel which determines its place in a sentence. However, these ending vowels become silent whenever you have to stop at that word. Tanween is the indefinite article. Ta al-marbuta is a hybrid between ta and ha, sounding like a ta when we have a vowel and a ha when we stop at it. An alif al-maqsura is a hybrid between an alif and a ya, which always sounds like an alif that is a long vowel. If you like the music played in the background, it's a song by Abdul Halim Hafid called حاول تفتكرني, and it's composed by Baligh Hamdi. Take care and see you in the next lesson.